Good morning. The court is going to take up the next case on the court's docket. This is cause number 984. It's in the interest of Brenda Galindo, Annette Galindo, Gilio Galindo, and Joe Castillo children. The case is set for a bench trial today. The trial is being conducted pursuant to emergency orders of the Texas Supreme Court via Zoom video conference. The department is participating in the hearing today through caseworker Evelyn Ivey, Supervisor Crystal Gillette, and Regional Attorney Christine Rankin. The mother of the children is Amy Quizno, who is participating in the hearing today along with her attorney Ray Lifesty. The alleged father of the child, Joel, is Robert Castillo Jr., who was personally served with citation notice of suit on August 12, 2020. Mr. Castillo is not currently present. The court would take judicial notice of the court file to the extent it reflects that he has not filed any request with the court for a court-appointed attorney and no attorney purporting to represent him as in an appearance in the case on his behalf. The respondent, Alfredo Galindo Sr., who is the father of the children, Brenda Galindo, Nanette Galindo, and Rogelio Galindo, is participating in the hearing today. He was personally served with citation and notice of suit on May 26, 2021. The attorney ad litem for the children is Emmett Fleming, and Mr. Fleming is participating in the hearing today. The custody guardian ad litem representatives for the children are James Valancano and Jackie Yvette, both of whom are participating in the hearing today. Amanda Armendariz is the maternal great aunt and current caregiver for the child, Nanette. Brenda Morellas is the is a maternal cousin and caregiver for the children, Brenda Galindo and Joel Galindo. And let's see, if I didn't note it earlier, Miss Armendariz and Miss Morellas, Brenda Morellas, are both participating in the hearing today. Also present in the hearing today is the child, Rogelio Galindo. He is present in the virtual courtroom. And let me make sure if there's anybody else on my screen I don't have in right now. I have under the designation T. Ferrero 15 Gmail. Ma'am, could you identify yourself for the court, please?
Yes, my name is Patricia Ferreiro. I'm the counselor for Miss Quiznos.
Okay, Patricia Fierro. Okay.
Yes,
All right, thank you. And I believe that is everybody that I have on my screen at this point in time. All right, as I noted earlier, the case is set for a bench trial today. The attorney ad litem had filed a motion or motions with the court for the court to confer in chambers pursuant to section 153.009 of the Texas Family Code with the children, Rogelio and Nanette, which the court has done today with the attorney ad litem for the children and the custody guardian ad litem representatives being present, and a record was made of that conference by the court's court reporter pursuant to the Texas Family Code. All right, let me start with Ms. Rankin. Ms. Rankin, is the department ready to proceed today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Lifesty, is are you ready to proceed on behalf of Ms. Quizno? I'm sorry, I believe you may be muted, Mr. Lifesty.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you ready to proceed? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right. Before I go further, I note also on my screen, and I didn't note him earlier, Wyatt Hollabaugh. Mr. Hollabaugh, what is your connection with the case, please?
I was the family-based safety services caseworker. I was the removing caseworker.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right, Mr. Galindo, if you could unmute your device for a moment, sir. I'm sorry. You can unmute your device, please. I'll stand by for just a minute. Mr. Galindo, can you, if you can hear me, can you unmute your device, please? There should be a button on your screen that you can push to unmute your device so we can hear you. Ms. Ivy, do you have a number to reach Mr. Galindo to let him know? We're not going to be able to get very far with, you can't communicate
sir.
with us. Thank you. I'll stand by for just a moment. While she's doing that, Miss Brenda Morella's note that there's somebody else there with you. Would you identify who else is with you?
This is Brenda Galindo.
Brenda. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Judge, I'm sorry, but I also have Nanette Galindo here with me.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Galindo, are you able to hear us?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can. Mr. Galindo, as I noted earlier, I don't know if you were able to hear that, what is set today is a bench trial in the case relating to the children Brenda Galindo, Nanette Galindo, and Rogelio Galindo, and Joel Castillo, 3 of those children being your children. The suit is filed by the Department of Family and Protective Services. My understanding, Ms. Rankin, and correct me if I'm mistaken, that the department's intention is at the time of trial of this case, based on the facts as the department sees them, is to request the court enter an order to seek to terminate the parental rights of each of the respondent parents to their children. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so Mr. Galindo, what is at issue today is whether or not the court should grant orders that would terminate the parental rights of yourself to your 3 children and the mother to the 4 children, as well as Mr. Castillo as to the child Joel. I believe this is the first time you have appeared in the case. And so I will advise you that in any litigation, you have a right to retain a lawyer to represent you if you feel the need for legal advice. If you are opposed to what the department is wanting to do in the case and cannot afford a lawyer, you can make a request for a court-appointed lawyer. If the court determines you do not have sufficient assets or income to hire a lawyer on your own, the court can appoint a lawyer to represent you in the case. So you have a right to retain a lawyer. You have a right to make a request for a court-appointed lawyer, and if you qualify, you'd have a court-appointed lawyer, or you certainly have the right to represent yourself in the case. But what is at issue at this point is whether or not any rights you have to the 3 children that are your children should be terminated pursuant to the department's pleadings. So I need to inquire of you today how you wish to proceed relating to proceeding with the trial today. Are you ready to proceed to trial, or do you want time to try to retain a lawyer to represent you in the case before we proceed to trial? Or are you requesting a court-appointed lawyer to represent you in the case?
Is there a way you could get a lawyer to represent for me?
Well, if you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, I can appoint one to represent you, but whether or not you qualify for one would depend on whether you have sufficient assets or income to hire one on your own. If you have assets or income that are sufficient to hire a lawyer on your own, I'm not authorized to appoint one for you. But if you do not have sufficient assets or income, I would appoint a lawyer for you, and we would reset the trial to give you some time to confer with your lawyer. If you do not qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, you would still have the right to make a request for a continuance of the trial to give you some time to try to retain one, should you wish to do so. So if you're asking the court to appoint you a lawyer, I'll need to hear some evidence from you as to whether or not you would qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, and then make a determination whether you meet the guidelines for the court to appoint a lawyer for you. So is that your request for a court-appointed lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I need you to raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give today before the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Alfredo Galindo.
Okay. And you are the father of the children Brenda Galindo, Nanette Galindo, and Rogelio Galindo, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, other than those 3 children, do you have any other children under the age of 18?
So that'd be their brother, Alfredo Galindo Jr.
And how old is he?
He's Brenda's twin.
He's 20. Okay.
No, that's Brenda. That's Brenda's twin.
Okay. Okay. So he would be 17 as well.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Now, are you under any orders to pay child support for any of the children?
Think I do. I'm not sure.
Okay. Are you current on that support?
No, sir.
Okay. But you don't recall the amount that you're required to pay?
No, I can't remember really, to be honest with you.
Do you have, are you currently employed?
Yes, I'm self-employed.
Okay. And what type of work do you do?
Construction.
Okay. And on a monthly basis, what is your pay, or what do you earn from that self-employment on a monthly basis?
It could be somewhere from 1,500 to 2,000, 2,100, somewhere around there.
Okay. And do you have any other children? I'm assuming, do you have any other sources of income other than that income?
No, just that.
All right. Do you have any assets of any significant value that you could use to try to hire a lawyer with? That you could sell the assets or pledge them to them?
No, sir.
Are you receiving any type of governmental assistance at this point? Are you on food stamps, Medicaid, anything like that?
No.
Well, sir, I'm going to find that you would qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. I'm going to appoint Tom Davidson to represent you in this case going forward. Now, Mr. Davidson will be notified of that appointment, and you'll need to confer with him about your position in the case. The court will be resetting this case for a hearing and for a new trial date here in the near future. The law only allows a limited amount of time for these cases to come to some resolution. So it'll be important for you to get with him and with the department as quickly as you can if you desire to try to preserve your parental rights. The department could change their plan But at this point, if they proceed forward, at the time of trial, the issue will be whether the court should terminate your parental rights to your children. So if you're opposed to that, you'll need to confer with your attorney and be prepared to proceed with that issue at that time. You understand? It'll be important for you to also stay in contact with the department so that they can communicate with you about the case, talk to you about what they're wanting to do. There is a family service plan that they have filed with the court that'll be an order of the court that you are to comply with, and so you'll need to get with them to discuss that as well regarding anything you may need to do relating to the case. Okay.
Okay. Now on this, who would I contact? Would I contact Evelyn or who? Or
I believe you need to be in contact with Evelyn Ivy. Is that correct, Miss Ivy?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Right. She'll be your contact, so you need to stay in contact with her.
Okay.
If we could get the mailing address and a good phone number for Mr. Galindo.
Mr. Galindo, can you provide to us your current address and phone number? Just the other parties in the case also have an obligation to confer with you about the case and get your position. So can you give them your current address and phone number?
My address is 2926 Rural, RULE, Rural Street, Amarillo, Texas, 79107.
Okay, and your phone number?
806-576-5869.
Okay, thank you. The court has appointed an attorney to represent your children and a guardian ad litem for your children. They may also be in contact with you to discuss the case with you as well, and I'd ask you to cooperate with them as well.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
And thank you. All right. In light of the need for the court to appoint an attorney for Mr. Galindo in the case, I believe I'm going to need to vacate the trial that's set for today and reset it to a later date to allow some time for him to confer with his attorney. The current dismissal date is August 9th, 2021. And based on that date, I don't believe the court's going to have sufficient time to reset the case within that current trial setting. So the court finds that extraordinary circumstances necessitate the children remaining in the temporary managing and conservatorship of the department, and that continuing the appointment of the department as temporary managing conservator of the children is in the best interest of the children pending a reset of the trial. So the court is going to extend the dismissal date as provided in section 263.401 of the Texas Family Code and reset it on February 5th, 2022. I'm going to vacate the trial that's set today, and I'm going to reset the trial on October 19th, 2021 at 10 a.m. And I'm going to set a permanency hearing and pretrial on September 21st, 2021 at 11:30. As I noted earlier, the court had conferred in chambers with the children Nanette and Virgilio. There is a record of that by the court reporter. If any of the attorneys want to make a request for that record, you'll need to file that request with the court prior to the trial date, at a sufficient amount of time prior to the trial date to allow the court reporter to prepare that record if one's requested. All right, let me go back to the attorney. Ms. Rankin, anything else we need to address for today?
Yes.
Can I get the September date one more time?
Yes, ma'am. September 21st at 11:30.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fleming. Anything else from you for today?
Yes, I have a question. Now, can I have contact with the kids, like talk to them, text them or something?
Yeah, any contact you have with the children will need to go through the department. You can discuss with Ms. Ivy about how that should happen or if it should happen, but you'll need to communicate with her about that. Okay?
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Okay.
And Judge, we have witnesses, I believe at least one that's under subpoena. And so we'd ask that that continue until the October 19th date.
Okay, if you received a subpoena for today's hearing, I apologize, one, for the delay in the case, but I would request that you or you will remain subject to that subpoena and ask you to reappear. The department will arrange for you to receive the Zoom notice for that reset trial date.
And will that trial date be in person, Your Honor?
No, ma'am. It'll be by Zoom. All right. Mr. Fleming, any other matters from you? Mr. Fleming?
Thank you. No, nothing else, Judge. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Any other matters?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm sorry for the delay, but we'll be adjourned for today, and we'll be reset on the dates I've set forth. Thank you.